go over the SMA plan. We do understand, like Paul said, that your DC plan is a larger plan. So we'll try to keep it short and sweet. You contribute $2 an hour to your SMA plan. It stayed the same from 2024 to 2025. The best thing about the SMA plan compared to the pension is that you are 100% vested. 1 hour worked, you're immediately vested in your SMA plan. So you don't have to work the 5 years like you do for a pension. This is already yours. You have several advantages to the SMA plan. It is designed to supplement your monthly pension. Your balance is always 100% yours. You control your balance and how it's invested, which Teague probably talked about earlier, but you can go into your app, go online, you can change your investments, you can be more aggressive, less aggressive, depending on your age. You do have flexibility with that, with changing your investments, and you could receive it in a lump sum, a partial lump sum, a monthly, or annual options are available depending on your age. For your SMA, your eligibility rules for the standard SMA. Jenny will go over the hardship. I'm just going to cover the standard. Before the age of 52, you cannot work in disqualifying employment for 2 consecutive years. And you cannot return to work until you receive your SMA payment. From ages 52 to 59 and a half, you cannot work in disqualifying employment for 3 consecutive months. Even if you work 1 hour, that will push you back to the next month for us to start our 3-month calculation. After the age of 59 and a half and older, you only have to not work in disqualifying employment from your effective date until you receive your payment. And if you are deemed disabled, you can receive it at any point. There is no waiting period. If you work disqualifying employment in any of these states, you would not be able to withdraw from your SMA. Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Wisconsin, and any standard metropolitan areas which border any of these 4 states. If you do have a question about it, you could always give us a call and we could let you know if it is in the jurisdiction. And then you have your optional forms of payment through the SMA. You could receive it as a lump sum payment. You can roll it over. If you receive it as a lump sum payment, you do get hit with the 20% federal withholdings. That's going to happen at any age because it hasn't been taxed previously. You could take a partial lump sum, you could roll it over, you could withdraw it, or do a combination of both. You could do a monthly payment over your lifetime if you choose to annuitize it, and it would be a benefit for your lifetime and for your spouse. You could choose an annual payments of 5, 10, 15, or 20 years if you're older than 59 and a half. And you can also elect to have monthly installments where you would elect the amount if you're over 55 to supplement your income before Social Security kicks in. But that can be changed and canceled. You can change the amount or cancel it at any time. So it's not for your lifetime. It's just for as long as you want for the monthly installment.
All right, so let's talk about SMA death benefits. The benefit is going to be determined by your marital status. So if you're married, your spouse is your beneficiary. And then if you're, and she'll have the same options that you would have had while you're alive. It can be taken as a lump sum, monthly, and then there's also annual installment options. If you are unmarried, your last name beneficiary on that beneficiary card will be who gets your benefit. All right, let's talk about the hardship benefit. The plan changed in June of 2020 from a money purchase plan into a profit share plan, so we could accommodate the hardship benefit. The hardship benefit is based off the Safe Harbor Act through the federal government. So it has its own separate eligibility rules that are completely different than your standard SMA rules. Okay, so you will have access to the profit share portion of your SMA balance, which is everything you've earned from June of 2020 onward, to put towards one of the 6 hardships that make you eligible for it. So let's go through them. So you have medical expenses that are unpaid for you, a spouse, child, or dependent. So if you had a procedure years ago that you're still paying off, we can help you get you the money you need for the unpaid portion. So you would send us a bill, and then we'd be able to help pay that out to you. If you're purchasing a principal residence, if you're buying a new home, it just has to be affixed to land. There's some documentation we require back from that. We can only give you up to what you can provide proof of needing for any of these. So that's where the documentation comes in, okay? And everybody's situation is a little bit different too, so just call us. We're happy to talk you through it and walk you through that also. Tuition and related educational expenses for post-secondary education for you as spouse, child, or dependent. College is right around the corner for some of your kids. Some people it's back to school time. So if there is that weight on your shoulders, you can utilize, again, up to that profit share portion towards your kids' education. College, okay? Imminent mortgage foreclosure, tax foreclosure, rental eviction. And this is to help prevent that from happening. So when you start getting those notices in the mail saying, hey, if you're not brought current, we're going to have to begin the foreclosure process, or you'll be in default, you can provide that to us as long as it lists out what you need to be made to be brought current, and then we can give you the access to your profit share portion towards getting you back and keeping your home, okay? Funeral expenses are a little bit different. It's for your spouse, child, dependent, or the ironworker's parent, okay? And then repairing damage to your principal residence as a result of a governmentally declared disaster. So, there's been so many crazy disasters lately everywhere, flooding, and, we've had tornadoes, and there's been fires, all kinds of things. So if you're in an area where FEMA comes in and says, hey, we're declaring this a disaster area, you can check on the FEMA website if your address is part of that group. And then you just send us that page with the contractor's estimates to fix whatever happened to your home, and we can help work with you to get you the money to help fix your home. Any questions on the hardship benefit? Okay, all right. Let's talk about rolling over. So we mentioned earlier that 3-page orange sheet in there that talked about rolling from another qualified plan into our plan. So like I said, it must be a qualified plan. It is subject, once it comes over and it's now part of the SMA, you're subject to our rules for eligibility and withdrawing. So it would no longer be whatever rules you had there, it all moves to us, okay? Some of the advantages, if you take advantage of it, we have very competitive overall fees as well. So I think right now it's about $99 a year. That's for everything. There's no additional commission coming out of that. It's what you pay yearly to run the fund. But there's nothing else after that. If you're moving your investments around, all of that, there's no additional fees for that. Combining your annuity accounts also lets you avoid other fees from other places too if your money's all in one spot. That can be helpful. And then, like I said, the rollover forms are in your packet. Any questions on that? Yes.
So I have monies in other locals around the country. If I combined ahead of time my SMA with the defined contribution in one account, then those monies would go directly to that.
You could roll over from them to that one account. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's better, roll the SMA to defined or defined into SMA?
I always advise people to really look and see how their money's doing at both. You get your statements for both, so see where your money's going and make the best decisions for you. Everyone's situation is very different, so how are you investing it? And that's something too, you can call John Hancock and they can reach out and discuss that with you one-on-one. Okay? Right? Right. All right, so going back to Paul's dirty word, he doesn't like to talk about the quadro. So you're just like the pension, the SMA balance is non-assignable to anyone other than through that court order. That's what the quadro is. It's a court order stating that your ex-spouse is going to get a portion of your SMA. Okay, and that's what assigns it to them. And then that money is divided out, and they would have their money in their own account, and you would have yours in yours, and then never the two shall meet. After that gets separated out. It has to be entered by the court, so we can't just take a divorce decree or a marital settlement agreement and call it good. We have to have the official entered court document, and that's where that quadro comes in. That's where the judge signs off. So for example, let's say that your balance is $150,000 and your ex-spouse is entitled to 50% of that, then $75,000 is moving into a separate account from yours into theirs. And then everything gets put under their name and they can manage their money separately. Okay, any questions? Okay. All right, so just once more to review, for SMA balances or investment changes, you're going to call John Hancock directly at the 388-6466 is the Ironworker phone number for John Hancock. If you want to update your address, if you want to withdraw your money, you want to do something more transactional, you're going to contact us at the fund office to take out your funds, whether it's hardship or to make a standard withdrawal. You'll call us directly. But to talk more about your investments, your balance, things like that, you can call John Hancock. Any questions? Remember, we're here to help you, and we love, meeting you guys face to face. And if you think of anything, please call us in the fund office. We're happy to talk about your situations personally, because everyone is so individualized in what they have going on. Right? I think Paul was going to come back up, and I think we're good.